Hey, what's up everybody? This is Keeping It Real Fishing. That picture you just saw there, that was myself and the owner of Megastrike Fishing. His name is Bobby Uhrig. And I'm going to do a little spot here today on Megastrike. The only reason I'm doing this, and this is really kind of anti my philosophy, I mean the Keeping It Real name of my channel, I chose that because I think that there's a lot of BS out there in fishing. You know, and it's all promotion, right? I mean, that's the name of this game is promotion. Trying to get a little bit of money, trying to work your way up, you know, put a sticker on your jersey. You know, I don't really care if you gave me all power bait, or this is anybody, if you gave any fishermen out there all, just pick a company, and if that's all they could fish, you know what, they would catch fish. I mean, that's the reality of it. Everybody wears a different sticker to promote their brand because they get money from it. I mean, fishing is probably 1 part fishing and 10 parts marketing. So, having said that though, the reason I'm going to talk to you today about Megastrike, and just put something in front of the camera here while I'm talking. The reason I'm going to talk to you about Megastrike is not that I think that the lures are, you know, some crazy innovative thing, although one of the things that has impressed me is that this guy Bobby, he has, you know, done a couple things that are innovative, they're worth mentioning. But the main thing I like about them is, first of all, Bobby. I've met him now a couple years at the New Jersey Sportsman Show, and when I say that this guy is just sincere and forthright, just very, very approachable, decent guy. I was so impressed by him. In a sea of people swindling things, and you know, it's almost like guys opening up their coats, you know, want to buy a watch, you know, here's why you need this, here's why you need that. He is anti that. He knows he's got good stuff. He's not trying to push, you know, a bunch of gimmicky stuff on you. He's like, fish the product, you know, if you don't like it, if you don't think it's doing a good job, you could return it. And there's just no BS in him. There's no BS. He's not a swindler or anything. I'm so impressed by his attitude, and you see that kind of transpire into the company. So one, this is kind of for him. I really, he stands out, and I want to just give his company a little spot for whatever it's worth. It's not like I have a ton of viewers here, but if you're not aware of this company, they're definitely worth your attention. You may as well try them out, guys. They do have good stuff. Second thing I really, really like about them, and this is almost as important as it itself, try to find a company who everything they make, not just their plastics, but also their spinnerbaits, their jigs, their, I mean, just across the board. If they make it, it's made here in the USA. I haven't done my homework, so I don't know. I'm sure there's others that do, but I'm also pretty darn sure that's an anomaly. Most stuff is outsourced. And his stuff, he's very proud of the fact that it is made here, and he says openly, you know, it costs him more to make it here. It costs him more. So, and the price, but the price of the baits is not jacked up. It's not like this is, you know, $8 or $9 to compensate for, you know, it being made here. Their prices are right in line, and I think they're even a little bit less than all of your, you know, other main name brands. Okay. And just kind of an aside, I'm in New Jersey. They're based out of New Jersey, so there you go, right? Hometown favorite. So that's why I'm doing this video here. Alright, let me show you a couple Megastrike things. And like I said, I just got back from the New Jersey Sportsman Show, something they hold at a convention center here in Raritan Center. It's kind of a big show every January, and a lot of vendors come out, and some local companies, and also a lot of the big companies. And Megastrike's always there, and I always enjoy speaking with Bobby and crew, because they're always they're such good people. So let me show you some of the things I got there. This is one of their creature baits, and this one here is called a Megabug. Now all their stuff, and I haven't even bought their main product is their fish attractant, but all their stuff is doused in it. And you might want to do some homework on the fish attractant, because I guess they can't promote it in this way, and I don't think I'll get them in trouble or anything, but some of the big names in bass fishing, they actually use it, but I guess the sponsorship isn't there, you know, or maybe Megastrike can't put forth the money or whatever. But there's a video on YouTube where Ike and Ellie, I mean, he's got it on the boat, as well as others. I mean, I'm just going to mention him. But there's a lot of fish attractants, and Megastrike is, as far as I know, it's legit. And not only that, what I like about it, Whether or not it works, you know, that remains to be seen. But I like it. It's a gel. It's not like a squirt thing, an oil-based thing. And you'll see this if you look up Megastrike. They have promo videos, and they'll show like oil-based stuff, you know, coming off immediately in the water. But it just makes sense. It's a gel. It rubs in. It stays on the bait, as opposed to a spray. You know, it's on for a little bit. You have to respray, respray, respray. So anyway, that stuff is all over here. You see my hands already. It's kind of like a thick oil. So here's their creature bait. I believe this one is 3.5 inches. And, you know, they just have one creature bait, one offering. And I like it because you could do a lot of things with it. You could do a lot of different things. Obviously, you could use it as just a general creature bait. You could Texas rig it. You could, you know, do like a drag across the bottom type deal. And, you know, the appendages, of course, are as you see fit. If you don't want that much action, you know, decide. Take off these two, or maybe take off the last two. I like that it's a two-tone. You have the distinct blue claws here. There's a recessed portion for your hook, so that the tip of the hook, you don't have to texpose it. The tip just lays in that channel. That's always a great feature. You could use it as a trailer. You could chop all this off, cut it down, jig trailer. You know, usual stuff, but the shape, you know, and these appendages allow you a little bit of variation there. And then the other side, you have these really huge ribs on it. So, I don't know, guys always like to talk about displacing water and ribs. I don't know. But, if you believe in it, I mean, this thing has, you know, a massively ribbed body. So I guess, you know, on the downfall it would move a little bit of water. And you can see the nice blue flakes in there. So that's a mega bug. Okay. Next lure I'd like to show you. I don't have all their stuff here, but I picked up some of the primary lures. I had some last year too. I just didn't fish them that much, and now I'm inspired to kind of really just try their stuff for a while. Now, I'm real particular with my stick type baits. I'm a Yamamoto Senko fan, not just because of the name, but because of the performance. I've fished other brands, and what I've found is that many of them, they have different fall rates. I like the fall rate of the Senko. It's obviously proven that speed is a very effective speed. So slower or faster, you know, maybe there's something about that fall rate that Gary Yamamoto figured out. The other thing I've noticed is that some of the other brands I fish, they fall faster, and a lot of times they're less likely to be level in the water. Let me just take one out so I can show you what I mean. Some of the other brands, what was I fishing for a while there? The Strike King, there's like an Ocho, and there was I think a Yum version. And what I found is that they wouldn't fall consistently flat. They wouldn't do this. They, you know, kind of going more like that and like that. Something about them, they wouldn't go straight down. This is wacky rigging, by the way. I almost always fish mine wacky style. And the other thing was, they didn't have that Hallmark tail wiggle. You know, either side's undulating as it went down. A little bit here and there, but the Senko was, you know, just about every time steady fall and just get that little bit of a wriggle, which stands to reason is the reason that fish bite it. That little bit of life to it. The reason I picked up the Megastrike was because they had a tank demo there, and they a large tank demo, like one of the ones that has all the bass in it, and they were fishing this, and it had a nice slow fall, and it had that Hallmark wiggle. Cast after cast, it fell. You know, it basically was exactly like a Senko. Even though all these stick baits seemingly look the same, the density of them, how much salt or, you know, whatever, the plastics that they're made of, you gotta get it right to have that full speed right and to have that wiggle right. And if not, it just looks lifeless or drops too fast or whatever. And I can attest to that. This year I tried fishing other brands for a while and I gave up because I just wasn't getting the strikes. Switched back to Yamamoto and it was like night and day. And I'm usually not a real believer in, you know, something making that much of a difference, but I did see it myself this year. So I was impressed that Megastrike, you know, got theirs to have the same, I couldn't tell the difference, the same performance. So I wanted to try one of theirs, and they, I like this color here. It's kind of like a laminate, light blue, kind of shad, little silver flake. It's one that I didn't have, so I figured I'd try that. Next up are some swim baits. Now it's going to be real hard to pull me away from my Kitex because that has become my favorite lure. My Kitex specifically, I'm just saying the brand name there, the Swing Impact Fat. That was my go-to lure this year. I mean, I caught, I'd say, over 60% of my fish, probably not one lure. You have to pull out of my cold dead hands now. And I fished other swim baits before it, not too much success, but the Kitex Swing Impact made a believer of me. It's just got a lot of particulars that make it different. But I wanted to try the Megastrike brand, and I liked what I saw because similar to the Kitex version, which the name implies fat, Swing Impact Fat, is that the body was real fat. That profile in the water was real fat, and sure enough, the Megastrikes have a real fat body. Put it in my hand there for you. Real fat body. Going into a very, very thin tail, and just from what I've seen, there's all sorts of swim baits on the market, but the bigger the discrepancy between, you know, this transition between the body here and how much it slims down, that dictates the type of wag. You know, so a little bit into medium into, you know, this right here, it's just like an appendage. The thickness of it as well as the density of materials is going to dictate if it's a tight wiggle or if it's a wide wiggle. And it's not just the tail, it also goes into the dynamics of how the body, the thickness and stuff of the body relates to the thickness here. So haven't fished this one yet. I don't know how it's going to fish, but its design is reminiscent of the Kitex Swing Impact Fat, which is my favorite lure of anything I have. I mean, anything I have, that's my favorite lure now. And this reminded me of it, so I figured I'd try this one out. You have a hook slit on the bottom on this one. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that'd be the top. Have it upside down. And no real features here, no eyes or anything, but that doesn't matter at all. So that's, again, you don't have to texpose. You have that little channel there, and that's really, really important. I wish all manufacturers would do that. You have your boot tail there, and you just have a nice, you know, nice limber plastic. And this one I don't know. I'm going to see how it swims. I hope it swims well. But design-wise, I really like the design. And I like this color too. My Kitex I have in more natural colors, and this one's kind of a dark pumpkin with a red and a black flake. So looking forward to using this guy. Let's put him right there. And let's see, there's a size on those. Those are 4-inch fat shads. Okay. And all these baits, guys, are about, I think they're about $5 a pack. And they're very competitive. And then for the last of the plastics, I just picked up some Grubs. And I like this color. Hadn't seen it before. And so I figured I'd try it out. Nothing too special here. I don't have much of a story for why I picked this one, other than the fact that I just like this laminate color. Reminded me of bass, kind of like that baby bass color. So I think this will be a good swim jig trailer, you know, really any trailer, in clearer water and, you know, for more natural styled jigs and spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, things of that nature, or even by itself, you know, just on a jig head, even by itself. Clear water, just nice natural color. It's got a pretty thick body to it. Pretty thick. So, here we go. There's that guy. Okay. I had got these last year. I actually did a video of them last year. And I'll just show you them again real quick, just because this is kind of like all things Megastrike. Here's their Hallmark Jig. And the thing about it has this, what they call a skid plate here, acts as a fulcrum. And the other cool, a couple unique things about this. This is a fluorocarbon weed guard. Okay, so that's going to be very minimal when in the water. Here's something you don't see too often. The skirt attaches ahead of the weed guard. I mean, I don't know if there's any others, but just about every single jig you see, the weed guard is before the skirt. You put the skirt on from the rear. So in this case, the skirt is before it. And they were saying the philosophy there is kind of, you know, in the water as it's floating around, many times it'll like cover up the weed guard. as it's swimming around, or as you're twitching on the bottom, it'll cover it up. Whereas other ones, when it's after the weed guard, it could, it's not really going to do that because it's after it. So being ahead of it, there's more likelihood that it can disguise the weed guard. And the big thing with these is that they always stand up. And that's just what they do. They stand up. And they have that fulcrum plate there. They just stand up every single time when they're in the water. Okay, so we got these are called evolution jigs. I think there's evolution 1 and evolution 2. I don't know which one I have. Okay, so there's those. Here's the kind of the concept on just a plain hook. This would be for shaky head. And so you can see that little fulcrum there. Now there's a lot of people doing this now, but this guy Bobby, he won the ICAST Lure of the Year, or whatever it is, ICAST, yeah, I think it's Lure of the Year. It was a while ago, it was back in I think 2006, but this took Best of Show. So before everybody had one of these, he had brought it to market, and it takes a while to design it and get it and everything else. So for a few years, I mean, he had this whole concept, down pat. Now they're a dime a dozen. You see other people with similar designs. Although this particular skid plate and everything, I think is still, it's probably patented. So you're not going to see an exact replica. But what I like about it is that there's two keepers. Obviously you have the screw one, but if you want to fish it without, if you didn't want to say text poser or something like that, if you just wanted to put, say, like a creature bait or just something coming straight off the back here and leave an exposed hook, you have the keeper here. So one keeper for just inline rigging, and you can just put your worm straight on there too. Inline, second one for if you want to bury the hook and have more weedless. And it's got a nice line tie, a real recessed, smooth line tie. So these are pretty cool. They're really cool. So there's those. Okay. And the last two things I'm going to show you are just, they're one and the same, but they're the Megastrike Spinnerbaits. And again, I was saying in the beginning of the video, like, I'm not like promoting the brand just to promote them, but my whole idea, again, keeping it real fishing, is I'm looking for something different. Something that's just not like, cut off an appendage this year for 2013 and say, oh, our brand new creature bait, and give me a break, like do something, like some actual sit down and think what's going to make a difference. Not just what's going to be, a ploy for 2013 to sell new baits, to say it's a new product. So this has been out for a while, and again, I mean, this is not the end-all be-all, but it's something different. So let me show you. Like Megastrike, they're trying. Definitely trying. Are they reinventing the wheel? No. But they're putting out some good stuff. So here's the strike back spinnerbait. And there's really two things about this spinnerbait that stand out. And the main one being this right here. Is that head, if I could focus here, is that head pivots. Okay. That's really the main thing. So that if you've ever had a bass through a bait, the idea behind here is that you have a lot more freedom in this hook being able to swing. Obviously you don't have anything this way. Actually, you do have a little bit. There's a little play just by the nature of that connection. But, it's meant to go side to side. Come on, guy, focus. Okay, so that's the main thing. Good sharp hooks, really sticky sharp hooks. Nice bright paint jobs, good enamel on them. Nice looking eyes there. Medium weight wire here. Not a heavyweight and certainly not a lightweight one, just a nice medium weight. And the other thing that's a little bit different is all their spinnerbaits have a two-tone primary blade here, or a willow leaf blade. So you can see that this one's a silver and gold. And then I have it also in a lavender shad color. You can see that one's a silver and blue. This one here, the other side, is a silver. And that's something that they do on all of them. You have a two-color system there. So it's something a little bit different, right? You don't see a lot of people doing that. Is it better? I don't know. But it's different, and I think if nothing else, fish are more inclined to strike something that is a little bit different than something that they've seen 100 times before. And then this right here just stands to reason that will give you a little bit more security for a fish that's, you know, jumping and fighting you wildly. You know, the hook can move as opposed to being a static structure. So I like these. I like these. These are solid. Come in a couple different. You got 3/8, 1/2, and 3/4 ounce, and these two are in 1/2 ounce. So, all right, everybody, that's it. It's my little spot for you there on Megastrike. Again, I don't know Bobby any more than just, you know, some guy I saw at a show, but I did want to put together a video because I have really been impressed by him as a person, his company, and the way they operate, and the fact that they are doing some different things with regard to their lures. So I just wanted to put that out there, and if you haven't tried them, you know, definitely worth a try. Have any questions, just give me a holler. Thanks.